Good morning, everyone. I welcome you all for today's session on a quick quiz on the basic concepts of distributed system. Okay, we have finished couple of lectures discussing what is distributed system, what are different types of systems like centralized, distributed and parallel, the advantage and disadvantage of each, and what is multi-computer, what is multi-processor, how we understood the importance of, load sharing in the basis from centralized to distributed. And since it is load sharing, we require multiple processors to complete one task. If multiple tasks are happening simultaneously, then it goes to parallel processing. That's what we have discussed. So when it comes to concurrent transactions, it is distributed system. When it is simultaneous transactions, it comes to parallel systems. Then we had discussed about multi-processor environment. It is distributed systems, concurrent transaction. If it is simultaneous transactions with uh, multi-computers, then that is parallel systems. Something we were about to discuss was that loosely coupled and tightly coupled. So in the multiprocessor system, we are working for one task. So we have got shared memory, right? So everybody is working on the shared memory. So if two or more processors are trying to read a data item A, then there is no problem. You can give them the access individually. But if more than one processor is trying to write on one particular data item on the same time, it cannot happen. It may lead to corruption of the data or inconsistency in the data. So last time we had discussed in the lecture that there are various algorithms we have learned like FCS, first come first basis, shortest stop first, preemptive. That means if they are not on the same time. So the one FCFS, that is first come first served. Okay, so the job which came first can be given access for writing. Another is shortest job first. मतलब अगर एक जॉब को 1 घंटा लग रहा है राइटिंग के लिए और दूसरे को अगर 1 मिनट लग रहा है तो यू कैन अप्लाई शॉर्टेस्ट जॉब फर्स्ट एल्गोरिथम. अगर सपोज दोनों ही को सेम टाइम लग रहा है, ठीक है, तो फिर और एक ही टाइम पे दोनों का अगर राइट्स आया है, सो यू विल कंसिडर प्रायोरिटी, दैट इज प्रीएम्प्टिव एल्गोरिथम, मतलब किसको पहले प्रायोरिटी देनी चाहिए, और या सीक्वेंशियल अगर है तो किसका सीक्वेंस पहले आना चाहिए. ओके, सो दीज थिंग्स वी हैव डिस्कस्ड. अकॉर्डिंगली वी डिसाइड द आर्किटेक्चर ऑफ डिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड सिस्टम. करेक्ट. सो लेट्स स्टार्ट विद दिस शॉर्ट क्विज. If you want, you can type on the chat box, or if it will, if possible, if you just speak out, that will be very good. So, what is the main goal of distributed system? Yes, anybody would like to answer? Shambhavi? Yeah, Mansi has answered C. Okay, make multiple systems appear as one. So, just now only we discussed that multiple processors uh, uh, okay. Yes. So making multiple systems appear as one. That is called as concurrent transactions. So in the previous lecture, we had discussed that concurrent transactions means कि हमें लगता है कि एक साथ हो रहा है, लेकिन प्रोसेसर का टाइम इतना माइक्रोसेकंड में होता है कि एक के बाद एक हो रहा है, या हमें समझ में नहीं आता है, हमें लगता है कि वो साइमल्टेनियसली हो रहा है. एंड दैट इज द ब्यूटी ऑफ डिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड सिस्टम. Okay, that it appears that it is simultaneous, but it is not. Which of the following is not a characteristic of distributed system? Please, if you are putting on the chat box, please put the question number and the answer, because so many people are typing, so it becomes confused at what instance you have put it. because I'm also looking at the screen talking to you. So it becomes difficult uh, relate on chat box. Okay. Yes. So Dipti Maya, yes, the answer is correct. It is C. Okay. Centralized memory. Fine. So it is not a characteristic. Okay. We have a shared memory concept in distributed system. And of course, that is called as centralized memory, but it is not a characteristic. It is a requirement. Fine. So third, fault tolerance ensures the system continues to operate even after component fails. Fault tolerance ensures that the system continues to operate even at the computer fails. Yes, the answer is correct, true. Why? Because हम डिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड सिस्टम ने हमने पहले भी पढ़ा कि अगर हम सारा ऑल द सर्वर्स इफ वी पुट इन वन प्लेस दैट इज सेंट्रलाइज सिस्टम, तो अगर एक ठप हो गया तो सब ठप हो जाएगा. लेकिन डिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड सिस्टम में वी रेप्लिकेट द डेटा. ओके, वी हैव शेयर्ड. सो even if one thing stops, the other takes the charge, and it can be done in that manner. Okay, so next question. Okay, so fourth question, what transparency hides the location of resources? Yes, so the answer is correct. Location transparency. यहाँ पे आपका नाम ही location है, so it's easier. Transparency last time हमने बोला कि it has two meanings. अगर suppose if five servers are connected to each other, last time we had taken an example of telephone exchange. So telephone exchange का जो main server होता है, hub होता है, वहाँ पे सारे servers एक दूसरे के साथ mesh network से connected रहते हैं. ठीक है, लेकिन when it comes to the MSC, okay, the MSC and the base stations, they are connected to each other with the help of hybrid network. Whereas if you consider the MSC stations to the clients means the actual users. So they are star network and tree type of topology they are using. Okay, तो जो आपस में जो मेश नेटवर्क है, उनको एक दूसरे के साथ में ट्रांसपेरेंसी रखनी पड़ेगी, अदरवाइज हाउ दे विल बी इमीडिएटली कनेक्टिंग टू ईच अदर. ओके, एंड दैट इज व्हाई दे आर इन अ सेंट्रल हब, एंड वहां पे सिक्योरिटी बहुत ही ज्यादा टाइट होती है ना. लेकिन अगर वो एक दूसरे से मेश में नहीं कनेक्ट होंगे तो वो फास्टर एक्सेस तो होगा ही नहीं होगा, लेकिन कनेक्ट ही नहीं होंगे. एंड देन दे हैव टू कनेक्ट टू द एमएससीज एंड द अदर थिंग. तो वहां पे वो ट्रांसपेरेंसी होना जरूरी है. लेकिन आप ये एक्सपेक्ट नहीं कर सकते कि जो क्लाइंट्स है उसको आपके सारे सर्वर के इंफॉर्मेशन हो, तो वो ट्रांसपेरेंसी आपको हाइड करनी है. तो दोनों चीज है जो आपको समझनी पड़ेगी, है ना. सो वी हैड टेकन अ स्पेशल 20-minute session on transparency in our previous lecture. Okay, you can revise your notes. So transparency is has transparent means some things you cannot hide, you have to interact with the other, and some things when network of the servers are there you need to hide for the security purpose. Okay, so for the location you need location transparency. Right? The client server model is an example of which architecture? So we have studied three types of architecture. Okay. Distributed, parallel, and centralized. Okay. So in centralized, you have every server on one machine, and then you have a star topology to connect to the other machines, right? So this is centralized. So the answer is correct on the chat box. It is answer is C. Because in peer-to-peer, it is like a mesh network, right? And for the broker, it's like an agent between two machines. Okay. Now we had to discuss about microkernel. If anybody can let me know what is microkernel. Yes. Can somebody repeat? What is microkernel?
Ma'am, it's an operating system that provides only essential functions.
Yeah, so the essential features and the IPC, that is inter-process communication. Okay, so when it is inter-process communication, it is going to use a what you can say mesh network. Fine, because operating system uses a lot of features like preemptive algorithm, okay, the scheduling and so on. So it has to use the hybrid network. Fine, so that is why the answer is C for this particular question. Next question, question number 6. Middleware is used in a distributed systems too. Now, in the last lecture, I had discussed about the JDBC and the ODBC drivers. What are driver? I had told you that if somebody has a car but doesn't know how to drive, right? So we hire a driver, but that doesn't mean that the car now is the ownership of the car goes to the driver. The ownership of the car is still to the person who owns the car. Okay, but since that person doesn't know how to drive, okay, for example, two people want to talk to each other, one knows English, another knows French. So you need a translator. Similarly, for Java and Oracle, I've given you an example that Java itself is a patented language, okay, very useful for web services, whereas Oracle is another patent database server, okay, very good for database applications. They all have their own different companies, okay, they have their ownerships, patents, copyrights, etc. But Java and Oracle, they are compatible to each other. You can write, you can, connect to them, connect those both languages without their code being leaked to each other. So the privacy is maintained. Still, those two softwares can be connected to each other. So what is the platform? The platform is the driver. So JDBC, ODBC means Java uh, drivers and the Oracle drivers. Okay, database connectivity drivers, that is ODBC. So these drivers they are called as middlewares. So middlewares, they don't leak each other's data, still try to connect each other. So I think this explanation we have already taken. So yes, the answer is correct. I can see on the chat box, the answer is C. So it hides heterogeneity and provides common services. Okay. So it is not there to increase faults. It is not to provide low level networking. It is not to eliminate transparency. In fact, it is there to provide transparency between two applications in spite connecting to each other. Okay. So I always say that if you do not understand any answer, just see all options and see this not okay, this not okay, this not okay. Then you try to find out, oh, is this okay? Somewhat. Then maybe you try to analyze it more and finalize the answer. Next question, which of these is a quality attribute of a distributed system? I have given you a website on WhatsApp, okay, where all the fundamentals were shared and discussed. So if you can go through that, this answer is going to be very simple. Now see, what is gravity basically? What do you mean by gravity? Okay, so basically gravity, yes, I could see some answers. So basically gravity, you can write down. It is the name of the distributed computing framework or a middleware. So basically gravity is a middleware. Okay. I'll repeat, gravity is the name of the distributed computing framework or a middleware. Like brokers, just now I explained that an agent or a translator. Okay. It is a type of that. So, for example, some distributed platforms or message brokers use Gravity as a code name for their event distribution or service orchestration system. So, in that sense, Gravity refers to the central pull that coordinates or synchronizes nodes in the network, similar to how gravitational force pulls objects together. Fine. And what is scalability? Scalability is adding more and more users. Okay, so we had discussed in our lecture that if it is a distributed system, it is very easy to add more users. For example, if a Vodafone users are increased in our area, we can add an antenna, okay, a router, gateway, and try to finalize the number of users for the bandwidth of that antenna. And this is how we can scale in distributed system. Okay. Durability, what do you mean by that? Now, see, in database system, um, we always say that atomicity is very important. So either the transaction should be null or it should be full, right? So this is the very important property, one of the ACID properties. A is for atomicity, C is for consistency, D is for durability. Okay. And so these things are for database systems. Okay, so durability is a very important feature in distributed system, but it is a primary feature for database system. So that is why the answer is correct. It is C. Okay. What do you mean by reciprocity, by the way? See, basically reciprocity is a third party tool. Okay. Third party means if you cannot provide a service, you hire somebody else to provide it. Okay. For example, there are a lot of outsourcing which the company does. If they are not capable to provide some of the service which has been mentioned in their client document, okay, they don't say that we don't do it. They will get it done from the third party. Okay, so that is called as reciprocity. So that is actually not a very quality attribute of distributed system, but yes, it can be achieved by distributed system. Okay, so if quality is there means if suppose this is not provided, we can't say that this is not a distributed system. But if scalability is not provided, then definitely this is not a distributed system. Hence the answer is B. But of course, all these other qualities are also provided by distributed system if extended. Yes. What about eighth question? Horizontal scaling means increasing power of a single node. I'll give you time to answer this. What do you mean by horizontal scaling? Horizontal scaling means adding more nodes or machine to the system to handle increased load, not the not increasing the power of a single node. So vertical scaling means you are increasing the power of the CPU. Okay, whereas horizontal scaling means you are just adding the number of nodes. Okay, so Do you think that distributed system is just to add number of the nodes or to for the load sharing of the CPU? What do you think? Yes, I want somebody to speak up for the answer. I've got the answers on the chat box, but I want the answer verbally. Can anybody speak out? Liz Mansi, can you answer?
Ma'am, false.
Yes. Can you be a bit louder?
Ma'am, false.
Yeah, it is false, okay? Because distributed system works on vertical scaling, not horizontal scaling. What about the next question? Match the terms MTBF and MTTRR relate to. What do you mean by MTBF and MTRR? You can write down on the chat box. So MTBF is mean time between failures, whereas MTTR is mean time to repair. So mean time between failures means it measures how long a system runs before a failure occurs. Okay. Whereas MTTR is mean time to repair. It means that it measures how quickly the system can be restored after a failure. If you want, you can write down both of these reliability metrics. Okay. What can you see on the screen? Can you just tell me आपको screen पे क्या दिख रहा है? Dipti Maya, can you tell me what can you see on the screen?
Hello, am I audible, ma'am?
Yes, what can you see on the screen?
Ma'am, question number 8, 9, 10, 10th.
Okay. Okay, so just all of you quickly note what is MTBF? It is mean time between failures. What does that mean? It measures how long a system runs before a failure occurs. It measures how long a system runs before a failure occurs. Okay. And what is MTTR? It is mean time to repair. It means it measures how quickly the system can be restored after a failure. So these both they are called as reliability metrics. Okay. So the answer is B, reliability. Correct? Okay. So last question for this session, then we will continue in the next after you join back. What is the disadvantage of distributed system? Yes, the answer is correct. It is complex synchronization and security. I think in the last two lectures, we have been discussing these two aspects, security and synchronization. For that context, I had told you about the NTP, Network Time Protocol, how you can synchronize the time. Similarly, we have to synchronize other factors as well. Okay, so we complete this set of basic questions. Okay, thank you for your patience listening. Uh, we'll join back with the next set of questions in the filling the blanks format and also next set of 10 questions for Netflix based. So we had discussed, I had given you the assignment on the Netflix architecture and hope you have done that. So based on that architecture, we'll be just having a quick quiz for you to evaluate your knowledge. So thank you very much for your patience listening. This is Dr. Aisha Butalia signing off for this session.